How you doing, guys? Welcome to the Fit for 90 podcast. I am your host, Cayman Bandel, footballer and strength and conditioning coach. Today, I want to break down something which I think is really, really important for pretty much every non-league lad listening to this right now, especially if you're a lad who's not quite at the fitness levels that you need to be at. Why you're fading around the 70th minute mark and what a lot of players are now getting wrong about getting through that last half an hour. I want to create a picture. I want to paint a picture for you guys. So I want you to picture a moment that most non-league players know very, very well. Say it's about the 65th minute. You started the game really well. Your first few touches were good. You were competing well in the first half, but you've come out for the second half and something's changed. Like your legs are heavy. Your first step, that acceleration's gone a little bit. Every sprint you're making, it feels like you're dragging someone behind you. And the worst part is that you can see that your gaffer is pacing the touchline and you know what he's thinking. He's thinking, right, do I need to bring him off because he's not fit enough, because he's looking a little bit leggy. And it's not because you've made a mistake or anything like that, but because of that edge that you had in that first half earlier in the game, it's disappeared, it's gone. And when that goes, you can see that the subs start warming up. Now, I genuinely believe every single player has experienced that situation at least once within their playing days. You might be experiencing this maybe too often. There is a lie that so many players tell themselves when it comes to the reason why they may be getting dragged in the 65th. So a lot of lads think that this is a conditioning problem. They think it's a fitness problem. And then they tell themselves, I just need to run more. I just need to get fitter. You don't just need to run more. You don't just need to get fitter. Some of you might need to. However, there's a deeper level to this. You fading in the last half an hour of a game is not just down to your conditioning. It's down to your lack of ability to produce force. It's your lack of force production, your ability to generate and then regenerate explosive power repeatedly across a 90-minute game. And I see it time and time again. Most players have never trained that quality properly. They don't even know how to train that properly. That edge that you have in the first half, it disappears generally about the 65th, 70th minute. I see it time and time again. Early in the game, you're fresh, your nervous system's firing, you're feeling good and you're feeling sharp, you're explosive. But then as the game progresses, something starts to leak. There's a what's the word I'm looking for? There's an energy deficit. It could be conditioning, it could be power, it could be strength. Often we see that as power, and it's not your effort. You're still trying hard. It's not your desire. You still want to run hard. You still want to try and do the right things. But once your power output drops, everything else drops with it. You start to lose sprints. You start to lose foot races. You lose 50-50s. Your acceleration goes to nothing. It just becomes like a steady jog, a one kind of pace that you're performing for the last, well, from about 65th minute onwards, you're just running at one consistent pace. You can't change speed. Your reactions slow down. The game itself, if anything, the game is slowing down because other players are getting tired as well. But the game hasn't changed. It hasn't got faster. Your ability to apply force has dropped off. Now, a lot of players think that they can fix this with kind of general gym work and bodybuilding splits. Oh yeah, I'll just get a pump on, I'll just get a bit stronger, add a bit more lean muscle. Doesn't work. Bench pressing, as good as it is, leg pressing as good as it is, random strength work, like, don't get me wrong, like strength matters when I'm talking about this. However, most of the gym work that you're probably doing right now is completely disconnected from the pitch. It's purely focused on building muscle, on how you look in a t-shirt or a vest. It does not build repeatable explosive force. And we know football is a game of repeated explosive actions. If your training doesn't reflect that reality, you're always going to fade in the 65th, 70th minute. And it begs the question, like, if there was a system where you could train like an athlete, build repeated sprint ability, build the ability to repeatedly express explosive force, and still look really, really good, why would you not implement that? Because that's what athletic performance training does when you do it the right way. And if you do it the right way, what happens is there's a moment that happens where gaffer notices and people start to notice and they think, oh, like he used to be fading in the last half an hour of games, but he's not doing it anymore. Now they won't use the language I'm using of force production, but they know what they're looking at. They'll see a player who starts strong and then finishes the game as strong as he starts, not a player that fades. They'll see a player who can impact the game early, but also impact the game in the last minute. When the game's getting into the 70th, 80th minute and it's 1-1, or you're 2-1 up and you need someone who's going to dig the hills and be able to do the graft and do the hard work and put the work in, The gaffer's going to want someone who's got the explosive edge, who's got that power, who's got that the ability to express those repeated explosive movements way into the 90th minute. Those players stay on the pitch. Everyone else becomes a sub. Now, I don't think this is down to, I think there's a lot of talented lads who probably listen to this right now. You might be one yourself. And when I talk about talent, I'm talking about the technical side of the game. I don't think a lot of non-league lads have this issue. I think there's a lot of good players playing non-league football. I also think there's a lot of lads who have got really good intentions, and it's not necessarily a mentality issue. I think it comes down to a physical development issue. Your body hasn't been taught how to repeatedly generate high levels of force across the entire match. You've not trained the right way for it. You've not been educated on how to do it. And if you don't know something, you don't know what you don't know, as the saying goes, it's not your fault. But that's where the gap is right now. And it's one that general gym program, in fact, most generic gym programs, they never even consider this. Nowhere near. You might go into the gym and see someone lifting as a bodybuilder, and you might see someone lifting for athletic performance. And at a glance, it might look quite similar, but there is a massive, massive difference. Now, something that I've been working on over the last couple of weeks is building something specifically for this problem to help you to plug this power and strength deficit that is leading to you fading in the 70th minute of games. Because I've seen it over and over and over again from players playing from step 4 to step 5 to step 6 to step 7. Technically good players, smart footballers, but the bodies are not backing them up, especially when the game is often decided in those last 20, 30 minutes of games. The bodies are giving up. What I've created is a 6-week force protocol. It's designed specifically to fix that last half an hour of games. It is not a general strength bodybuilding program. There's no kind of random running or random conditioning in there. It's a structured system that is going to rebuild your explosiveness so that you are the player who dominates not just the first 15 minutes, but also the last 15 minutes. Now, I'm going to be putting a lot of things out over my socials over the next kind of week or two. But for now, I just want to ask you, in fact, I want you to ask yourself one question. When the game reaches the 70th minute, are you still able to accelerate, decelerate, and sprint at the same level that you could in the first minute? Can you recover like you did in the first minute? Or are you the player that the manager is about to replace and he's got the subs warming up on the touchline? Because that is the difference right now between you being able to play 90 minutes every single week or just being that 70th minute player. I am going to be going in depth on this, as I say, on my socials over the next week or two. So if you don't follow me already, at Coach_Cayman, subscribe, share, and like to this podcast. But today's episode, it was a short one, but I just wanted to give you guys a different perspective on the reason why you're fading in the last 20, 30 minutes of games. It's not just a case of running more. It's not just a case of getting fitter. It's a lack of force production and your ability to generate, absorb, regenerate that explosiveness repeatedly across a 90-minute game. I've got something special in the works, but until then, have a good one.